Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Thorns, but you can call me Sasha. And welcome to part 2 of my Elimination Log challenge. The Nuzlocke challenge I created for myself with the intent of using every single fully evolved Pokemon to complete a Generation 1 Mono type Nuzlocke. On the previous part I completed a Mono Bug type Nuzlocke of Pokemon Red and was successful in completing with 3 remaining team members, being Pinsir, Venomoth and Scythe, and leaving behind 3 Pokemon that need to be used in another run. One of those Pokemons that, spoiler alert, didn't survive the bug type run was Beedrill, a bug poison type, that I stupidly lost, but you'll have to watch the video to know what happened. Anyway, with one of the poison types being banned from the roster and another being forced into the final team, I decided to take a crack at the poison type by attempting a Pokemon Blue Mono Poison Nuzlocke. But for this run I had to look at the encounters differently. You see, planning for this run becomes harder the more challenges because when I look at the poison roster I have to single out the mono poison. Because in order for me to complete the big task at hand, they have to survive this run. This means that Arbok, Muk and Weezing have to survive, or I'll be forced to make a solo run with one of them, and nobody wants to sit through that. But they aren't alone, because in Generation 1 there are 2 types that only have 1 member, that being Dragon with Dragonite, which we'll touch upon in a future run, and Ghost, because Gengar is the only Ghost type in the games, which is also part Poison, so to add to the order 3, Gengar also needs to survive in order for me to complete the Ghost type. But to add to that, Beedrill did not survive the last run, as I mentioned previously, so it being part Poison again, it also needs to survive the run, so I won't have to solo run it. This all means I have to, at the very least, win the league with 5 Pokemon remaining. That just means that planning for these types of runs is a lot more complicated than I was anticipating, but to me that just means more fun, because I'm weird like that. Let's get to the video. I begin the run by naming my character Orochi, and when it comes to a moment to choose a starter, I choose Bulbasaur because it is part poison, hence a valid encounter. And I'll say it outright, I have no intention of keeping it until Elite 4. I'll still take advantage of it until then, after getting my ass kicked by my rival, I can collect and deliver Professor Oak's package and finally get to the PC to collect my special starter, because I forgot to mention earlier, all of these runs will have a special starter, which will basically be either an impossible catch or a very late one, so I can, help myself complete the task at hand. And my special starter is an Ekans, because just like Pinsir's last run, Ekans is not available in Pokemon Blue, meaning this is the only way I could use one and still get all the other necessary encounters, and I played to Pokemon Red last time, so I wanted to change it up a bit. With my starter on the team, I can buy some Pokemons and officially begin the Nuzlocke. First thing in the task list, more friends, so I go to Route 22 and catch a female Nidoran, and in Viridian Forest I snag a Widow. With now a team of 5 this early in the game, which is very rare for a Generation 1 Mono-type runs, I can go through Viridian Forest and arrive at Pewter City where the first stream awaits. While preparing for the upcoming battle, I get a very familiar screen because Weedle evolves into Kakuna and again into Beedrill. Then welcome back, you beautiful bee. But there isn't any strategy involved in this battle because Brock, the gym leader, uses 2 rock types in Geodude and Onix, and I have a Vine Whipping Bulbasaur that one-shots both of them. With the first badge in hand, I soon get another evolution, with Bulbasaur evolving with an Ivysaur, giving the team some much needed power, following soon by Nidoran female evolving into Nidorina. Then I can reach Mount Moon and in there have another new encounter, this one being a Zubat, that I capture, adding some variety for this team. Next I reach the end of Mount Moon, choose a useless fossil, arrive at Cerulean City, and after healing I head to Nugget Bridge to face my rival. Battle begins and I send out Ekans against his Pidgeotto, hoping to poison the fat bird, but end up dealing a little bit of damage with Poison Sting after taking 2 sand attacks that lower my purple snake's accuracy, forcing me to switch into Nidorina. That takes a sand attack upon entering, but it didn't matter as it still connects with 3 scratches, leaving the bird in the red and taking 2 quick attacks and a gust in return for around 50% health. Then I switch Ekans back in on a gust that deals more than I was expecting, and after taking another one, leaving my stake at 11 HP remaining, it can connect with the wrap, immobilizing PG Auto and taking it out after 2 ticks of damage. This brings Kadabra in, but it's so physically weak that a single bite takes it down. Next is Rattata for my rival, and given that Ekans is faster, I can immobilize it with Wrap because it's a broken move in Generation 1 and slowly bring the rat down. My rival's final Pokemon is Charmander, so I switch for Zubat in hopes of confusing it, but end up missing twice, which goes completely unpunished as Charmander is fixated on using Growl for some reason. Then I need to do the old switcheroo to reset my stats, sending in Ivysaur, then back out to Zubat again as Charmander hits himself in confusion twice. Good stuff. Then it's a matter of trade-off between Zubat's Bite and Charmander Ember that ends with the Fire Lizard going down but leave my bat at 5 HP. Very messy, but a win is a win. Then, after transversing Nugget Bridge, I can get a new encounter in Bellsprout, another grass and poison type for the team. All I have left to do is save Bill from his untimely prison, get everyone up to level, Bellsprout evolving in the process to weepinbell, and challenge the second gym leader, Misty, the water expert. And since this kid's crush of mine uses 2 water types, my 2 grass types should take care of it. Let's see. Battle starts and it's my newly evolved weepinbell versus Staryu, and 2 Vine Whips deal with it easily. Next is Starmie, and I want to give Beedrill some redemption for the last elimination lock. So I attempt to put Starmie to sleep with a sleep powder, missing twice and being taken to 40% HP before connect. Then I send Beedrill in, on the turn Starmie wakes up, and on the turn I click Twin Needle for a good chunk of damage. Starmie goes for a water gun that crits, leaving my poor Bee at 1-1 HP remaining. Then I am forced to swap Ivysaur in since losing Beedrill means a reset, so I take the safe option and deal with Starmie with 2 Vine Whips. My stubbornness could have caused me a reset, but I remain unpunished and with 2 badges. Next, I need to make my way onto Vermilion City, but before that I can safely evolve my Nidorina into a Nidoqueen with the Moonstone that I got from Mount Moon, giving me a very powerful friend to utilize and a great answer to Lieutenant Surge. But before I can challenge the new gym in Vermilion City, I need to take care of the SSN events, where my rival once again is waiting to challenge me for another battle. Leading with my Zubat against Pidgeotto, I can connect a Confuse Ray to hinder the bird and start biting it, getting into a Bite, Sand Attack and Quick Attack Slugfest that ends in Pidgeot's defeat and my blind bat at 19 HP remaining. Then Raticate comes in and I switch for my tank Ivysaur to a Leech Seed Vine Whip combo that works perfectly as Raticate was fixated on Tail Whip, only hitting a weak quick attack on the switch. Kadabra is next, and I'm kinda scared of this guy, but for some reason my rival's AI is taking a break this weekend, because Kadabra only used Teleport 4 times in a row, allowing Ivysaur to KO it with some tackles, which... Next up is Charmeleon, my rival starter and a Pokemon with a high threat level, but I stay in for now, trying to connect the Leech Seed for some damage and some sustain, but miss the first one, taking a surprisingly weak Ember in return, allowing me to connect a second one, taking a crit Ember that burns my plant in return. I switch into Ekans, my special starter, to take the Fire Lizard on with 2 digs, only being looked at funny twice by Lear. With all the trainers defeated in this boat, I can collect my HM for cut and head into the next gym for the 3rd gym challenge. But before, I need to do some preparation, evolving Ekans into Arbok in the meantime, and it's where Zubat evolves into a Golbat, and deciding on a strategy for this gym. Just kidding, with a ground type on the team being Nidoqueen, there's nothing Surge Pokemon can do against my body slamming Dinosaur, defeating Voltorb, Pikachu and Raichu with ease. Then I can make my way onto the rock tunnel, and without any major events happening along the way, I can skip to Lavender Town and enter the Pokemon Tower for another rival battle. Honestly, at what point does it become too many rival battles, because the original games really like to put us against our rival. Anyway, Nidoqueen proved herself to be too powerful for my rival, defeating Pidgeotto and Execute with this until Gyarados comes in and nails my dinosaur with a strong Hydro Pump that barely missed the KOs. It was so close. So I swap in my Golbat for a Confuse Ray and Bite combo that takes the fake dragon out but leaves my Golbat at 6 HP remaining. Yikes. Next is Kadabra, a Pokemon my team doesn't want to face right now and I don't really have an answer for it. My best bet is Nidoqueen that's really low on HP, so I decide to go for a risky play, swapping weepinbell in and clicking Sleep Spot, which misses, and after taking a confusion on the switch, my carnivorous plant has no way out because that miss sealed his fate, falling to another confusion on the same turn, marking my first death. But I still have to deal with this Kadabra somehow, so Ivysaur comes in to avenge his fellow grass type, connecting with a Leech Seed and nailing Kadabra with a quick cut on the next turn, taking the KO while taking absolutely no damage in return because Kadabra just used Teleport twice. I don't know. Charmeleon is my rival's last Pokemon, and after swapping Leech Seed and Cut for 2 Embers that leave my Ivysaur at low HP, I swap Arbok in and a single dig brings the Fire Lizard down. There, I was complaining about too many rival battles only to lose a Pokemon in one. Serves me right. After depositing the Fallen, I can make my way onto Celadon City where I collect some useful TMs and deal with a Team Rocket at the game corner. And I would love to tell you how climatic the battle against Giovanni was, but Ivysaur defeats Onix and Rhyhorn with 2 Vine Whips and Nidoqueen can safely deal with Kangaskhan for the win. All that's left in Celadon is defeat the Force Gym leader, Erika, the Grass type expert. And let me explain something to you about the red, blue and yellow games. In this gen, Bug is super effective against grass and poison, something that was changed in the later games. This means that 2 out of the 3 in Erika's team is 4 times weak to Bug, and the other one left is still 2 times weak. This means that Beedrill, the only Pokemon with access to a damaging Bug type move in Twin Needle, can completely demolish Erika's team without breaking a sweat. And I told you I would bring Beedrill some redemption. Next up on my task list, I deal with the Pokemon Tower events where I get another mandatory Pokemon, a Ghastly, and this little ball of gas is mandatory because Ghastly and its evolution line are the only ghost types in Generation 1, meaning if I don't get it to champion this one, I'll have to rerun poison types or make a solo run to scratch Gengar off the list, and like I said before, no one wants to watch a solo run. With Ghastly evolving into Hunter soon after, I can defeat Team Rocket and get my hands on a Pokeflute, which I can use to wake up the Snorlax to get access to the Super Rod. The Super Rod opens another encounter, a Grimer in Celadon City. What? Okay, let me be real with you. I completely forgot that the 1% Grimer fishing encounter is only in Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red, the remakes of the original games. So when I was planning the route of encounters for this game, I didn't even check where Grimer and Koffings are, because I thought I could safely get a Grimer in Celadon and a Koffing at the Pokemon Mansion. Well, turns out I can't get Grimer in Celadon, and both Grimer and Koffing are both found at the Pokemon Mansion, meaning I can only use the first one I encounter. This is a problem, because in order for me to finish the poison type like I intended to, I would have needed to make a second run just for Muk or Weezing, and I'm not doing that. So for this run, let's close our eyes and pretend Grimer is an encounter at Celadon City, okay? Believe me, this pisses me off more than it does you, because I was just lacking in the planning department. I need to pay more attention and not take my knowledge for granted, since a lot of stuff can get mixed up, just like the Moltres encounter at Island 1 in Fire Red. I always forget he's there. With another mandatory encounter completed, I can make my way into Fuchsia City, then enter the Safari Zone, with the intent of catching a male Nidoran, and I fail miserably at it. I just hate the Safari Zone. Then I collect Surf and Strength and challenge the gym, evolving Haunter into Gengar in the preparation phase, as well as Ivysaur turning into a Venusaur. Also getting the TM for Psychic and teaching it to Gengar, because Gengar is a fucking powerhouse in Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow, with an insane special stat that in this generation means special attack and special defense, absurd speed and a move pool to make Butterfree jealous. So Gengar just solos Koga's poison type for an easy gym, and the cherry on top of the cake, Gengar is a ghost type, so not even wheezing self-destruct was a problem. 5th gym acquired. With the 5th batch completed, I can go south of Fushia and use Surf to get a Tentacool, a Pokemon that is about to turn this easy run into a walk in the park, because after evolving it into Tentacruel, I can teach it Surf and Ice Beam to get another fast special attacker in the team. Now I need to take my rivals into the Sylph Company to deal with Team Rocket, that decided to attempt to steal the Master Ball. Along the way, though, I find my rival, and he challenges me to another fight. He leads Pidgeot and I lead Tentacruel, clicking Ice Beam and taking the bird down in one shot. The same fate goes to Execute, and the following Gyarados takes 2 Ice Beams for the KO, landing a weak bite. Next is Alakazam, and 2 Surfs deals with Anubis, only hitting a confusion on his struggle back to the underworld. And last is Charizard, that's faking a speedy water type, so yeah, 1 Surf drowns the fake dragon. Right after my rival, it's Giovanni, and Nidoqueen with Surf and Body Slam deal with him, Tentacool being still weak from the previous fight since I saw no need to heal up. With Silphco save, I receive a Master Ball and proceed to face Sabrina, and although a very scary gym challenge since she specializes in Psychic type, which my team is weak to, her team has a giant weakness in the physical defense department, meaning Nidoqueen with a newly learned Earthquake, a neutral ground type move with 100 base power and stab, can destroy her team, only having Venomoth and Alakazam survive 1 Earth, but going for a Leech Seed for Venomoth and Alakazam using Barrier once and missing 2 Psywaves, meaning the scariest gym is completed. After Sabrina, my to-do list is very short, since all I need to do is catch a Coughing, which I throw a Master Ball at it for being the final encounter and all, in the Pokemon Mansion, collect the secret key and have Tentacruel down everyone in Blaine's gym, including Blaine with Surf, since he specializes in fire types and Tentacruel eats those for breakfast. After Blaine, only the 8th gym is left, and yeah, Giovanni is a ground type expert, so Tentacruel does what it does best and spams Surf for yet another easy victory. For a Pokemon that didn't get to shine in my continuation lock, this giant jellyfish is putting in the work on this run. To drive this point home even more, after Giovanni I have to face my rival again before the victory road, and Tentacruel takes down Pidgeot with 1 Ice Beam, Rhyhorn with a Surf, Execute with another Ice Beam, Gyarados with 2 Ice Beams taking a weak bite in return, then Alakazam comes in and after surviving a Surf at 45% lines up Psychic that Tentacruel survives with a Slither, and since it's outspeeding I know I can fire another Surf for the KO. Charizard is the last member of my rival's team, and since Tentacruel is so weak, I swap to my odd special monster, Gengar. After safely taking a Flamethrower on the switch, 1 single Thunderbolt turns the dragon into roast meat. Next, after going through Victory Road, is the Indigo Plateau, location of the Pokemon League, where I meet my next challenge, the Elite Four. So after some time preparating and getting the team ready, picking up all the mandatory team members, my final team is Beedrill with Twin Needle, Focus Energy, Agility and Swords Dance, and I'll be honest with you, I have no intention to throw this guy into battle. He is too frail, and losing him will mean a reset, so unless the situation calls for it, you can stay in the ball. Arbok with Bite, Glare, Acid and Dig, and I got plans for you in the Elite Four. Your time to shine will come, my snaky starter. Tentacruel with Acid, Barrier, Surf and Ice Beam, and I'm expecting great things from this guy. Muck with Sludge, Body Slam, Screech and Minimize, this is my defensive wall in case I need one, and with 105 base attack, this guy can pack a punch. Gengar with Thunderbolt, Psychic, Confuse Ray and Mega Drain. I don't have to say much here, it's a Gengar, one of the best Pokemons in Generation 1, and I know he will do great in his final matches. And Weezing with Sludge, Smokescreen, Double Team and Toxic. This is my Toxic Staller. With the decent defenses and access to Smokescreen and Double Team, Weezing can prove tough to take down, making him the perfect Toxic Staller for this team. The first Elite Four member is Lorelei, and she has a team filled with water types, meaning Gengar can have a field day spamming Thunderbolt for one-shots and Mega Drain for regen and last hits if they survive on a Slither, giving me an easy victory. Bruno is next, and Tentacruel is his biggest fear because Surf takes down every single one of his Pokemon without him having a chance to really do much damage back. Agatha is next, and it is Arbok time, since it has access to the base 100 power Dig. Yes, Dig is 100 base power in Generation 1, meaning Gengar gets deleted after hitting a Nightshade. When Golbat comes in, that is obviously immune to ground, I glare it before switching to Tentacruel, with Agatha switching as well into her Hunter. So I switch in Beedrill to take a potential Hypnosis, but end up just taking a Confuse Ray, meaning I can get Arbok back in on a failed Hypnosis and KO it the next turn with another Dig. Golbat comes back in, and I got a Fat Finger episode switching to Beedrill by mistake. But on a show of benevolence, the RNG gods allowed Beedrill to survive a crit wing attack on 9 HP. Forcing me to switch into Tentacruel, my original intended target, taking a Confuse Ray on a switch. But I risk it going for an Ice Beam with and Tentacruel goes through confusion and hits the Big Mouth Bat for a KO. Agatha's Arbok is next, and I switch for my own Arbok for an Honor Battle that gets decided after one turn, because after a switch, my starter nails the other Serpent with a Dig, bringing it down. Gengar, Agatha's ace, takes the field, and surprisingly Arbok outspeeds and KOs it with a single Dig. I told you, Arbok will get his moments to shine, and look at it, taking down Agatha almost solo. Gotta love to see it. The final member of the Elite Four is Lance, the flying specialist, and he leads with a Gyarados, and I lead Gengar going for a one-shot kill with a Thunderbolt. Lance's first Dragonair is next, and after connecting with a Confuse Ray, I swap into Tentacruel. On the same turn, Confuses subsides, but Dragonair only goes for an Agility, meaning I can take care of this Dragonair and the next one with 2 Ice Beams, bringing Aerodactyl in, and because I'm fairly certain it's going to use Hyper Beam, I don't want anyone on my team to take it, so I stay in and go for a Surf. Aerodactyl does indeed use Hyper Beam, but Tentacruel survives with 35% HP remaining and drowns the fossil with a Surf. Last up is Dragonite, and we all know one Ice Beam can defeat the Fat Draco. There is only one final challenge that I need to take in order to add these 6 Pokemon to my list of champions, and be closer to the goal of using every single encounter. There is my rival, that is now the current champion of Kanto, but not for long. Battle starts and it's Pidgeot vs Tentacruel, and as always one Ice Beam turns the bird into a chicken flavored popsicle. Next is Alakazam, a dangerous Pokemon, but nothing on my team can take it on, and the only Pokemon that I can afford to lose is already on the field, so I risk it and click Surf. Alakazam goes for a powerful Psychic, but Tentacruel isn't going anywhere because it survives at 50% and can defeat Alakazam with a second Surf the turn after. With Alakazam dealt with, the battle got a lot easier, and this is very obvious as Rhydon and Executor get one-shotted by Surf and Ice Beam respectively. Gyarados is next, and after all the work Tentacruel had put in, I don't want it to go down to an Hyper Beam, so I swap into Weezing, giving this new member a moment to shine. And shine it did, because after dodging a Dragon Rage on a switch, I can use one Smokescreen and one Double Team. I have a personal rule against setting up to +6 to apparently turn Weezing invincible, because Gyarados misses every single move as Weezing takes it down with a combination of Toxic and Sludge. A fate shared by my rival's final Pokemon Charizard, because after coming in and connecting with a Fire Blast for about 45%, it too gets smoke in its eyes and misses every single move afterwards, falling to the same combination of Toxic and Sludge, giving me the win and the title of Kanto Pokemon Champion. And I did it. I defeated the Pokemon League and can now add these 6 poisonous champions to the list of bans, and officially say that I completed the poison type, because all the other dual poisons that exist can be used in other runs, and let me say, I was surprised by how easy this was. I don't usually prioritize or use poison types on my personal runs, mainly because I do a lot of Gen 1 runs, remakes and originals, and poison types are everywhere in this region. But with this run, I realized that poisons have some strong powerhouses, with Gengar, Tentacruel, Nidoqueen and Nidoking being standout top tier picks, and I gotta say, I got to a renowned respect for Weezing. And Muk. Weezing being a very viable tank, giving a performance of a lifetime in the league, and Muk, although it didn't see any screen time in the league, is still a very viable physical attacker and tank overall. But I'll leave it at that, because I intend to give you guys a more detailed guide into the Gen 1 poison types in the future, just like I did for the bug types. Before I close this video off, I want to touch on the topic of how easy this was, and I'll be the first one to say it, this was a very easy Nuzlocke. And that's the problem with Generation 1, the power ceiling is very low and there are a lot of great Pokemon to use. Some of those are so great that they can basically solo the game. I made this challenge the way it is because it's gonna force me to use the greatest Pokemon in the game, but by using them they get banned from future runs, which is gonna force me to use some bad Pokemons as well. With that being said, I will always plan for victory, meaning I will always plan around the bad Pokemon and try to use them in a team where A, they don't need to do anything to get crowned, or B, they need to do the bare minimum while still being safe. Obviously, this won't always be possible, and the nature of this challenge will always take me into planning for the weak Pokemon instead of around them. So just be warned, in these elimination locks there will be very easy Nuzlocks, but eventually there will also be some very hard Nuzlocks, as my list of potential encounters gets shorter. With that, I can close off this video. Thank you all so much for watching, hope you guys enjoyed, remember to comment and subscribe for more, and always remember to never stop being yourselves, and peace.